You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. We've gone off her. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I was the first to describe Harry's wife as a narcissist, and also to explain why, by reference to the mountain of evidence that supports that finding. As you know, I've met her on a number of occasions, and it's something that I will be telling you about at the appropriate time, so that you can understand how she behaved when I met her, how I dealt with her, and what impact that had upon her. I knew from my interactions with her that she was a narcissist, and of course this is then supported by the mountain of evidence that was unearthed with regard to her other behaviours, things that I have been told, both privately and gleaned publicly. There were, of course, many people who also thought there's something not right about her. For many, it was watching her in the engagement interview. They didn't necessarily think, aha, she is a narcissist. In fact, I don't know of anybody else that actually expressed that view. But they saw her as, there's something off about her behaviour, false, that she's acting, that they didn't like the way that she came across, that they thought that perhaps she was too over the top, a gold digger, and such like. There were, of course, others who actually liked her, who thought, no, this is great. She's engaging, she's warm, she's kind, she's a breath of fresh air with the stuffy royal family. This person of colour is going to come into them, and she's marrying the Playboy prince. The pair of them are going to be plenty of fun. This is just what the royal family needs, a bit of a kick up the backside. Huzzah! Julie Burchill, of The Spectator, wrote, "How did I get Harry's wife so wrong?" She stated, "I have many fine qualities, but being a good judge of character is not one of them. Put me in a room with 6 saints and a psychopath, and we all know who I'm going to be swearing blood brotherhood with by the end of the evening." Interestingly, this hasn't left me feeling like a victim, as I'm extremely tough, reckless, and self-mocking. I bounce from one inappropriate friendship to the next with no loss of enthusiasm. Well, that might be indicative of a certain personality trait of the writer, of course. But she's not here to be examined. But most of those relationships are by their nature not conducted in the public eye. When a journalist makes a fool of themselves, drilling over a famous figure who later turns out to be an ocean-going rotter, it's a different matter. However, I may as well do a mea culpa on this matter, anything for a cheap laugh, even if that involves dragging my own name through the dirt. Twice, in this very magazine, Burchill writes, I have lain down my pride like a cape over dirty water and begged Harry's wife to walk all over me. Worst things first. In the winter of 2017, I scribbled thus, no doubt dotting the letter I with hearts whenever it appeared. Prince Harry is a lucky man to have found a companion who is so definitively unprincessy. Even though she has a beautiful woman ever to have walked the earth, it would be nice to think, for reasons of spite and scandal, that Harry's wife is that splendid thing, an adventuress, a woman who seeks dangerous or exciting experiences, a woman who seeks position or livelihood by questionable means. But I think the far more wholesome, if less thrilling truth, is simply that she is a young woman in love. And therefore, back in 2017, Julie Burchill wondered, is she an adventuress? Something, of course, which Lady Colin Campbell described Harry's wife as, if my memory serves me correct. However, Burchill thought, no, she's a young woman in love. And whilst there was evidently something there that made her go, she didn't fully pick up on it, and indeed was led down the route of thinking she's a young woman in love. She continues by writing, there's worse to come. Whenever I post a piece of mine on my Facebook page, I always add the warning, remember, we hacks don't write our own headlines. Well, in this case, I did. The headline was Harry's wife has rescued her prince, and was indeed inspired by the final line of passionately purple prose. Harry's wife has never waited soppily for some prince to rescue her. In fact, it seems far likelier that it is she who will rescue the prince. Cringe, as the youngsters say. Again, Burchill gets it wrong, thinking, yes, she's the one that's there as the mover and shaker. She continues, by the spring of 2018, I appear to have calmed down a little bit. I was perhaps being a trifle cheeky to my girl crush even. Hooray! For Harry's wife, a very modern adventuress, the headline cheered. But talk about be careful what you wish for. She's a thoroughly modern minx who won't wear the traditional fur and fracas perfume of the professional vamp. But I'd love it if Harry's wife turned out to be an adventuress as well as a woman in love. You have to admit that posting the ex-husband's ring back was a hopeful sign. The fearsome words, American divorcee, have been aired. The press is squared. The middle class is quite prepared. Bring on the bunting. A bunting I could now well use to throttle myself with sheer embarrassment, she writes. Again, noting the behaviours, but failing to see what it actually amounted to. Thankfully, by the summer of 2019, I was thoroughly disillusioned and slunk off to the excellent Swiss magazine, Die Weltwoche, to moan, Harry and Harry's wife took 4 private jets in 11 days after a summer of lecturing us about climate change, hypocrisy, and refusing to show their baby to the paying public. This followed shortly after the prince's jaunt to the Google Climate Change Summit, where he's also thought to have taken a helicopter, as he habitually uses them to fly short distances, whereas the Queen makes do with a train. Having a public figure as notoriously self-centred and bad-tempered as Elton John rush in to defend them didn't help, but only further established that the Sussexes saw themselves as international stars, rather than one nation's public servants. But at least their box-fresh love match is in no way sleazy. That side of things is competently being taken care of by Prince Andrew. Burchill continues, apparently I wasn't alone in successfully detoxing from my Harry's wife habit when a publication asked me to write in a for-against debate about her. Previously, I received a dismayed email back when I confirmed that I would be happy to condemn her. Oh, we thought you liked her, came the response. I did, but I've gone off her, confirmed Burchill. Oh, came the response, that's what everyone says. Sorry, but we're looking for people in favour. Well, they won't be asking me again. Shortly after hearing that Harry's wife planned to semi-retire from royal duties in order to spend more time with her merchandising, I coined a fabulous phrase, the grabdication. My rehabilitation is now complete, but please do stop me if I start making eyes at Zara Tindall. And of course, what is interesting here is that Burchill was in a way smitten with Harry's wife. She saw a couple of things which caused her to think, but it wasn't sufficient for her to see the full picture, unlike, of course, your glorious narrator. And it also goes to show that when it came to a publication asking for people to defend her, they couldn't find anybody, explaining that people had gone off her, that people were against her, which is indicative of what happens with certain narcissists when their behaviour comes to light time and time and time again. And here, Julie Burchill is quite content to admit that she got it wrong, that she once supported her and then realised that she could do so no longer. She is not the only one, and the number of individuals that see through her behaviour is growing each and every day. And the reason for that is that her level of narcissism isn't skilled enough to operate at the level of exposure and publicity that she has. That she makes these schoolgirl gaffes, the collateral consequences of which result in so many people ready to pounce and point out the errors, highlighting again and again her hypocrisies, her lies, and her revisions of history. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.